And this is a video review of the Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Kingdom Voyager class Dinobot. So, after months and months of waiting, I finally have my hands on this awesome figure. If you guys don't know, I'm a really big fan of Dinobot. Always have been since Beast Wars. Yeah, his character arc is awesome. So if you haven't watched Beast Wars, if you don't know anything about Dinobot, I suggest you go have a look. It's one of the best Transformers series, and Dinobot is probably the one of the best characters in the entire Transformers line. I know Rodimus Primal made a video about him. If you haven't seen that, give that a look. It's a really good way of introducing yourself to this character. But anyway, let's have a look at this figure. So this is the box for Dinobot. Nice, awesome artwork. A Dinobot in robot mode and Dino mode. His name is Dinobot. He's a Dinobot named Dinobot, basically. His figure number WFCK18. Here, it looks like he's a Predacon. But in the cartoon, he's actually a Predacon turned a Maximal. So I don't know how that's gonna work in the War for Cybertron trilogy series. I don't even know if he's appearing there. But yeah, in his character arc in Beast Wars, he's basically a Predacon turned Maximal. So two pictures of Dinobot, robot, and beast mode. Not much else. Also included in the box is your obligatory sticker. Mine is Megatron. It's good. I haven't gotten a Megatron before. Underneath is Gladiator Megatron. It's not showing well at all on my camera there. So it looks cool. Also comes with the instruction sheets. This is gonna be the first time I'm looking at the instruction sheet, to be honest. I've been playing with him a lot, transforming back and forth. I haven't really looked at the instruction sheets yet, but for the most part, it's pretty clear. So no complaints there. Clear set of instructions. Let's take a look at Dinobot. So Dinobot does come with two accessories. One is this tail. Shield kind of thing. I wish it was painted red. So the common complaint you'll be hearing from me in this video is he's perfect but he lacks paint. So this is a perfect example of it. The tail is completely unpainted. In the cartoon, I believe he had that painted stripes on the tail, as well as this one is painted red, the inside of it. Then it comes with the sword. The sword for the most part is okay. I mean, it's not spectacular, but it it's what it looked like in the cartoon anyway. In the cartoon, it's actually spun. It's kind of cool. The tip is textured. I don't know if you can see that. I believe they did that so that the texturing would match in in beast mode, which you'll see later, which I don't think is necessary, just because yeah, the textures match, but it's definitely not the same color. Oh, looking at the tail again, lots of textured detail, which is really cool. You'll see the same textured detail in the robot as well. Taking a closer look at Dinobot, I believe the highlight of this figure is definitely the head. That's a very accurate Dinobot head. I'm not sure if I want the scowling face or the snarling face. I wish it came with the snarling face with the mouth and the teeth, but this face sculpt is okay as well. That's like how he looks by default. That's his resting face, kind of like me. That's my resting face as well. With the tail, the face, the head sculpt isn't painted as well, so you'll see a lot of sculpted detail that's not painted. I wish he had light piping. This guy would really shine with light piping, but what can you do? For the rest of the body, again, it's just the lack of paint. So the chest is accurate for the most part. The arms look good, lack of paint, but there's a lot of textured details. The hands are a little bit oversized for Dinobot. but they opted to have the feet transform to hands, which is okay, and it doesn't look bad for the most part. I wish that silver disc was at the back. I know they meant to make it so that's not visible in beast mode. So in beast mode, that's the part that's visible, that's the one on the outside. But you know, I'd rather have the robot mode look better than the beast mode. So yeah, I wish it was on the other side. What can you do? And the lack of paint, I think it suffers most on the legs. So if you look at the legs, all of the sculpted detail is there, but it's just that gray plastic and this orange plastic. So if you know Dinobot, there will be a lot of painted details on these bone thingies there, which is missing here, which is unfortunate. But yeah, overall the sculpt I think is really nice. Nice proportions and all that. That disc I wish was painted brown as well. Yeah, now at the back, he does have this sizable backpack, but I think it's okay. I mean, it doesn't hurt the figure too much. I mean, you wouldn't be posing him from the back. Even from the side, I mean, I put him in a lot of poses. I don't really mind this thing too much. Now his accessories, as per normal Dinobot, he does hold the shield that way on his hand. So there is a peg there and a post there, so just peg it there to simulate the holding. Oop. You can't really grasp it just because it pops out, but yeah, you just clench it as far as it goes without it popping out. And then the sword, you have two options. He sometimes holds the sword that way, and sometimes he holds it this way, depends on the scene. So yeah, so that's usually how he fights, with that as a shield. Now unfortunately it doesn't spin, so in the cartoon it will spin, right? But we can easily remedy that if you have Siege Springer, right? What I do is you can peg this onto that hole, and you peg that onto Dinobot's hand, and that's your spinning thing. I mean, from the side it doesn't look as nice. It's quite egregious actually from the side, but from the front, you know, it looks cool. Now articulation, he does have a lot of decent articulation. You know, per kingdom figures do have a lot of good articulation. This one I think excels a bit just because of how expressive he can be. So the head is on a ball joint, so you can turn it all the way around. It does have those quizzical poses when you know Rat Trap says something weird, huh? The arms can go all the way around. So the shoulder pads are pegged to be the one that turns, so it turns with the hand. It's not too bad because the shoulder pads are not that big, so I don't mind it at all. I'm not unlike other figures like Ultra Magnus, where you turn it around and the pylon is facing down. This one, the shoulder pads not too bad to look at turned around. It does have the sort of, I don't know what that is, the swivel joint going up, so you know it makes for a few, if you can pose him well. I mean, there is a hinge there that goes that much out, so more than 90 degrees, and there is a swivel there a little bit, I'd say 90 on the elbow. Lots of possibility on the hand. So there is that swivel, there's this hinge, and then there's separate hinge for the sort of double thumb there, and this one. Not that it can hold a lot of stuff. It doesn't hold a lot of stuff. Pardon me, I have a bit of a cold. But yeah, it makes it a bit expressive. There is a waist joint that goes all the way around. The thigh goes all the way forward, that much back. Pardon, that's my daughter. And out. The hinge there is a bit tight, so there is a hinge, but it is a bit tight. That's quite unfortunate because I use that a lot in posing, and worried that might break because it's too tight and I don't know how to loosen it. There is a hinge on the knee, 90 degrees, and there is pivot, ample ankle pivot, and then you can do up and down. That moves separately, but that's more for transformation. So yeah. Okay, here's the Beast Wars figures we've gotten so far from the Kingdom line. So I think aside from Rat Trap being tad too small, I think the sizing of the figures are done pretty well in this line. Now, transformation for Dinobot is quite easy. I'd say the hardest part would be lining up the legs. But let's go through it anyway and show you how to do it. So first off, this is a bit not tricky, but you know, it's a simple thing to try and remember. You swivel it around and swivel it up. Now the reason for that is you can see this part is rounded, but that part is flat. You want the flat part at the front. That's because there's where you need the clearance later on when you start lifting this panel. Do the same for this other arm. Rotate it up and up. I used to turn the head around. I thought there wasn't enough clearance, but yeah, you don't need to. After a few tries, I figured out you don't need to, but you can. These Dino Arms hidden on the side, you just swing them out. They are on a soft tab there. So it's not really pegged in. It's more resting on it than pegged in. Then this entire panel on the side, you lift up. That reveals the actual dino head. Okay, so let's swing that out. Now you rotate this inwards like so. There is a swivel at the top there, and then it does peg there, so just squeeze that in and put that peg to the back. Now it looks like it's solid there, but it tends to pop out once it's transformed, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? Do the same on the other side. Now we can unclip this. So this is also clipped there. So see those pegs on either side, they are just clipped on those holes. Unclip that, and then you can now unclip the front there. Now we can leave that dangling for a while. We can lift this a bit and turn everything around. Now you can see where it's going. Now for the feet, as I've said, it's not tricky. You just need to align it properly. So what you want is you want the feet to be parallel to each other. So just try and rotate it so they're parallel. You can use that line as a guide. As parallel as you can. There you go. It's not tough, but the problem is the joints here are tight, so it's gonna be hard to adjust later on. Anyway, now these heels you want to flip up. That's in another tight joint there, and it is on a light ratchet at the end. There you go. Now what do we do next? Oh, let's do this part. Let's lift the hands out there, and then careful with the paint on the face. So there is a bit of clearance there. That's what I said earlier. What you do is you lift his head up a little bit, and that allows for clearance to push it forward, and then you cover his head with that panel, and that pegs there. And it will unclip as we transform. Just clip it again later. Okay, now for the legs, you wanna compress that all the way, and then you need to open up this panel. There's some sculpted detail there that they could have left out. That's cool. And then you just fold that all the way in, so you know it's aligned because there's these tabs there that will peg onto those slots there. So peg that in, peg the other side in. If it doesn't peg in, that means it's not, the legs aren't straight. And then what you do is there's these tabs there that should rest on those slots there. So what you do is you just hang on, do I have it all the way? I don't think I have it all the way. So there you go. You want that there. And you want that up and over, and something's not going. Oh, okay. You want that over and over there. Yep, there you go. And just clean up the tail. Okay, almost done. So what you do is you fold this down. It will unclip. Just fix that up. Tidy up the feet. So there you go. Tidy up the hands. So these hands are pegged together. Not that they need to be pegged together, because they're going to be resting on the side. Can open up the mouth a little bit. Open up the mouth a little bit. There you go. And there you go. There you have Dinobot after he's been with me in Monster Hunter for a few minutes. Tail cut off. Now to complete the look, we take the shield thingy, peg this there, so it only pegs one way. You can see there's a slot there, a space there, so it only pegs that way. Then you close this up. This also, there's that peg, that slots there, so it does peg securely there, so it doesn't open up in the middle. And that's the textured tip that I showed you, which again doesn't matter because it's purple. And yeah, you slot this at the end. Again, there's that slot at the bottom, so it only pegs this way. And that completes the look. So yeah, there you go. There you have Dinobot in his, I'd say, a little bit underwhelming Dinobot mode. So I don't really mind the dinosaur mode. I think it looks okay. There would have been a few changes that I would have liked. So for starters, I would have preferred they cast this in the brown plastic similar to this, these balls. Just because that they're that thighs anyway, so it doesn't really matter much if they're gold or brown. So if they cast that in the brown plastic, it would have looked a lot better. Might have been better also if they cast it in this white plastic, I don't know. But as it is fine. If you had the original Dinobot as the actual feet that's resting there, so this is a little bit looking a little bit better. Aside from that, the other complaint I had was the hands. I don't know, I wish they added another joint at the top so that, you know, it can just rest straight. It just looks like he's begging all the time with hands like that, but just doesn't look menacing. Maybe if he had the hands, you know, splayed out like he had in the cartoons. It's always splayed out in the cartoons, and he'd had these web fingers. What else? The tail, I don't think you can do much about the tail just because it becomes a shield. What they could have done is maybe give us a different tail for beast mode that can actually articulate, but that would require more budget, I guess. As it stands, it's okay. It's a bit long, but I'll try to find a video of or a picture of a velociraptor. The tails of the velociraptors are actually quite long as well, because it balances the dinosaur when it jumps. So I think that's fine. It's the fact that it doesn't turn or articulate that makes it look too long. The feet is very accurate to velociraptor, the claw and all that, so that's nice. And it has the most articulation, I think, this feet. That's because it turns it to the hand. Looking at the head, again, they opted for more realistic dinosaur mode as opposed to more cartoon accurate. So it's the same issue I have with Optimus Primal, Rat Trap. All of them have more realistic beast modes in lieu of the cartoon accurate ones. I mean, it's not bad for the most part. What's bad is the gap in the teeth. So Megatron has a little bit of it. Grimlock has a bit of it. I think this guy ended up with the worst teeth. This is the one who needs dentures the most. I don't know why they didn't fill it in, because there's, it won't hinder articulation, it won't hinder transformation. Why not just put 1, 2, 3, how many teeth up and down? I don't think it would have impacted the budget as much, because it won't be a separate piece, right? I don't know. I don't understand why they did that. It's not safety thing. I don't know. Now, I'm happy the eyes on mine look okay. I've seen reports of people saying, their eyes are cross-eyed or whatnot. One is facing up, one is facing down. Mine looks okay. And for the most part, it's painted cleanly. The other issue I've been hearing is the ankle joints. Mine is okay as well. Others have been reporting loose ankle joints. So yeah. Anyway, let's go for articulation before we do the comparisons. So articulation, no articulation on the head, except for that part going up and down, and this part going up and down. It doesn't turn or anything, which is unfortunate. The hands do have articulation, so hinge and a swivel at the top, so you can articulate the hands. There is a hinge joint on the elbow, and there's this. Again, I wish the wrist has a separate joint here, so that you can straighten it all out. And I would have preferred splayed out fingers, maybe a separate hand on a ball joint that you can pop in. I don't know. Legs, unfortunately, only has articulation from the knee down, so you can move it forward and back. There is a nose. There is a swivel there, but it tends to pop this thing out. Swivel, and the hinge on the wrist. So some articulation there. The tail doesn't move at all. So yeah, not too bad. Now for some size comparisons, here he is with the rest of the Maximal team. So I mean, he's a good size. I guess Rat Trap is still a bit small, and that's what I'm saying. They all look very realistic in terms of, they look like an actual gorilla, an actual mouse, and all that. Rat. That's how he scales with the other Predacons. Specifically with Megatron, yeah, he's quite big. It's not accurate to the scale of, how Velociraptor sizes up with an actual T-Rex. But in terms of the cartoon, I think that's a good scale. Okay, so final thoughts. You can leave the tail there for weapon storage if you didn't know. So final thoughts. I mean, what can I say? He's my favorite character in all Transformers, so I'm a bit biased. But all in all, this figure is really good. I wish I could have shown you my original Generations Universe one, but it's, I say it all the time, it's in Manila. This is definitely an upgrade from that one. The head sculpt is a lot better. The body sculpt is a lot better. And it's sized perfectly with the other what's this, Beast Wars figures. Only it needs a lot of paint. That's the thing. I've seen a custom somewhere where he painted the guy painted Dinobot really well. I wish I had his talent. If there's any instructional videos or whatnot, let me know. I wanna customize this to make him more show accurate, but as it is, you know, he's perfect. I mean, he's the figure that I've always wanted, and you know, he scratches that Dinobot itch, and that's what's all about. For Beast Wars fans, definitely try to give this guy a find. He's a definite keeper in your collection. So yeah, that was the review. If you like that review, please do leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. As always, this has been Grimtrigger, and this has been Dinobot. It's probably my figure of the year. We'll see. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.